Despite ending last week feeling really proud of the progress that I was making, I started this week feeling super demotivated. Especially with so much time, effort, and energy being dedicated to decluttering last week, it meant that a lot of other stuff kind of got pushed to the back burner, and I didn't make as much progress on other goals that I wanted to. That combined with the fact that my house is still kind of in a state because despite saying goodbye to the items, not all of them have actually left my house yet, it meant that I didn't necessarily have visible progress that I could be pleased with. This week the theme is very much getting back on track when you're feeling demotivated, but in order to do that, we're gonna have to go back to Monday morning. Good morning, happy Monday. My sleep was poor, mainly because of poor choices on my part, getting into bed way too late. Despite feeling accomplished from last week and having decluttered the house and everything, given the fact that all the stuff is kind of still in my house and needs to actually be taken out, and because I kind of neglected other action steps in favor of doing that decluttering, I've woken up feeling like just a little bit demotivated, just a little bit. Although I know I have been making progress and moving in the right direction on the majority of things, I feel like it's not as obvious, especially because all of that stuff is still in my house and that was one of the major projects. I think once that stuff is gone, I'll be feeling a little bit better, but for now, let's go do some exercise. Even though I am feeling quite low motivation today, hopefully it passes quickly. Starting with a good breakfast was a good idea. Starting the day with like something that feels like a little win or something positive, definitely on the cards if you're feeling low motivation. Just helps us get out of that kind of like negative mindset. And another thing that is very much going to help is the fact that we have our epic work along, which is our kind of goal related work along session, first thing on a Monday morning for me. So I'm going to use that to get my task list for the week sussed, which I should have done yesterday, but I didn't. So I don't really know what I'm doing this week, but we're gonna remedy that. Hey, how's it going? Wait, like Celsius? Oh, yeah, no, it is definitely not 23 degrees here because it barely gets to that in summer. Now as I've got the priorities list written down, I can definitely know that one of the reasons that I'm probably feeling a little demotivated is that I'm feeling behind. A lot of the items on there were, kicked down the road from last week because they didn't get done. But I think another thing is the lack of visual progress that I'm making, or effectively last week I did all of my decluttering, but a lot of the stuff is still in my house. We have all of these stacks on the floor and then all of the bits and pieces over there. We also still have the remaining notebooks that either need to be, given to new homes or recycled. We have all of the bits and pieces in the hallway that mostly need to be either recycled or donated, but some of them need to go in the bin. The items that are on the bedroom floor, the items at the bottom of the stairs, all the stuff that's hanging out in the garage, and the items over here, not including the step stool, but yes, including the elliptical. I think that once those are out of my space, I'll actually be able to see the progress I'm making a little bit better, or at least I won't have clutter on my floor that I'm tripping over, reminding me that the job isn't done. Hopefully by the end of this week, all of those items will be out of my house. Something that can help us just feel a little bit more motivated though is having something to be excited for, and something I'm excited for is, in theory, my bridesmaids dresses just arrived. Yay, they're here! Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Mainly it's just gonna be really nice to see my friends in their dresses looking all pretty and stuff. Oh, yay! There are definitely tasks that need to be done for my wedding attire and I have been ignoring them and I definitely need to do them this week. Don't remind me. And we have little bow ties for the guys that are in essentially the same color. And I'm just gonna put all of those in with Vogel's suit for safekeeping. So with Vogel and I both being a little bit lax on house cleaning, every 2 weeks we have people come over and do our bathrooms and kitchen for us. Just because it's one less thing for us to worry about, and I am like happy to pay somebody to do that because I don't want to do it, which means I'll procrastinate it, it won't get done, and then I'll get all like down and moody because my house is like bleh. Anyway, with those people coming over today though, and having a whole bunch of these decluttering piles around my house, I was feeling so bad. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry you have to work around these things. Like, I'm in the middle of a decluttering process and such, and then I got chatting with one of them and they asked, oh, are you gonna sell it or donate it, or what were you planning on doing? And I was like, oh, well, like a lot of it I was just gonna give away. Would you like anything? Like anything that is in a pile on the ground right now is pretty much free game. So with that, along with somebody coming over this morning to pick up the journals they were buying off me, I've been able to get rid of almost all of the stuff that I had in the container that was holding all of the crafting supplies. Pretty much all of the books from the hallway are gone, most of the stuff at the bottom of the stairs is gone, and this wasn't even actually something I was intending on doing today. I feel like the universe has just decided, hey Jess, I can see that you're demotivated, let's like get you out of that slump. Which I appreciate. Thank you, universe. Editing this week's vlog has over 11 hours of footage though, and while I am very glad that last week Jess did do some editing before the week was over, so I didn't have to do all of it today, there's still a lot. Yes, every week I will complain about editing because every week I will not enjoy it. But I do enjoy the end product, so. It's now 7 o'clock. I'm still editing this video because there's a lot of footage. A lot of footage, and it's just taking me some time to figure out which parts to keep and which parts not to keep and such. I'm probably just gonna keep working on it after dinner, but now it's dinner time. We're having Asian beef tacos. I am so hungry, so I'm very looking forward to it. Not so much looking forward to getting back to editing, but it must be done.
One eternity later.
Sigh, it is 11 p.m. I have finished, quote, quote, finished editing the vlog. I think that I really need to do a pass through and maybe trim it down a bit because it is an hour and a half long and that seems a little excessive. There was 10 hours of footage though, so like, it is not necessarily unexpected. Jess needs to go to bed though, because she is tired and she's going to be grumpy fish in the morning if she doesn't get some sleep. I'm actually thinking I might turn my morning alarm off. Maybe. So I can have a little sleep in. I think the body would appreciate that. But more so the body will appreciate going to bed, so good night. Good morning. The body still woke us up early, like 6:45, so like 45 minutes before my alarm typically goes off. It's cool. I just went back to sleep. So it's now like 8:15 and I'm getting out of bed ready to go and do the day. Ready is a strong word for it. I'm very much not feeling it. And I know in part that's probably because of the dip, but I can figure out a way to tackle that. If you're like, Jess, what is this dip you speak of? The dip is effectively the point in your goal getting where the kind of like initial motivation is worn off. You kind of started really excited. You're like, oh, I'm gonna get things done. Let's go. That is what we call the uninformed optimism phase. You don't necessarily know the work you're gonna need to put into the goal. You might know in a vague sense, but until you actually get underway, oftentimes there's like gaps in the knowledge. The dip is essentially where you get to informed pessimism. So you're like, okay, yeah, this is actually gonna be some work and I don't know if I could be bothered doing it. But that means that the dip is essentially a decision point for your goals. Like, are we going to keep going and just kind of like get through the suck of it? Or are we gonna go back to the safety and comfort of just not doing it? For some people and for some goals, this will come a little bit later, but it seems that mine is hitting about now, which kind of makes sense because we are roughly a sixth of the way through our 3 months, which means I'm really starting to appreciate the amount of time I have left, which really doesn't feel like all that much time, even though there is a decent amount of time left. Part of it comes from looking over the list of things to do and just being like, oh my gosh, there's like so much, how am I gonna get all this done? But honestly, a lot of us underestimate how much we can get done in a month. Like, I just need to keep reminding myself that like, yeah, sure, you didn't feel like you got a lot done last week, but that's because you got one big project done as opposed to a lot of little tasks. I mean, technically speaking, decluttering the full house is a lot of little tasks, but you kind of get the idea. It was one box on my checklist that I checked off as opposed to like 16. Another thing that definitely doesn't help is that there are certain tasks that I have been putting off, and the longer I put them off, the harder they become. Essentially, by procrastinating on them, I'm telling the brain, oop, this is something scary, this is something hard, let's not do it. Which means that when I come to do it, the brain is kind of like, oh no, it's a panic, don't make me do the thing. I also know that if I leave some of these too long, they become harder just by the nature of the thing, or you end up not giving yourself enough time to get them done by any kind of deadline. For instance, our wedding. Like, certain tasks just need to be done in advance so that then I'm not a stress mess Jess come the week before. I think that the two things that I'm gonna do today to help me combat this dip are, one, look over my task list or priorities list and try and find some easy wins for myself. If there aren't any on there, I'm gonna add some because doing those small things helps us build momentum. The second thing is having a look for those items that, even if they're like a little bit challenging or a little bit tricky, they're still doable, and having them done is gonna make me feel way more accomplished. So those ones in particular are probably the tasks that have still been put off from week 1 or got put off from last week. For now though, I'm gonna eat my overnight oats because they're delicious. Progress that does feel like a win though is that the tilers came back and did the grouting. Still nowhere near finished. Like, silicone needs to be done, testing needs to be done, the walls need to be patched up, but still, progress. Something that's definitely gonna feel like a win is getting all of these little piles of notebooks sent off to their new homes. So that is what we're gonna do today. There are still other notebooks that need to be claimed, but I just want to have a little bit more moving space in my office. There we go. Got the goods in some boxes so they're easy to transport, except for these ones that didn't fit, so I will just carry those. I know that this is actually going to be like a small mission, but it will feel like a really big win when it's done. Yay, dopamine. We're getting there, slowly but surely. We are all bagged up now. I just need to address them and get them sent. My ever helpful assistant wrote in all of the sender details for me. Thank you very much, Vogel. Appreciation. But the goods are ready to go. I never want to do this much package sending again. Too much writing, too much hassle. No. In forgetting that custom forms are a thing, that took 2.5 hours. So we were having lunch in the car. And big shout outs to Vogel for effectively writing off the rest of his workday to come help me, which I appreciate. And I'm sorry that it happened this way.
I'm sorry if I gave you a little bit of attitude before.
He definitely did, but so did I. But we're gonna finish off what we're doing here, and then given the fact that we're out, I might as well do some errands that require me to leave the house, like finding my wedding shoes, which I keep putting off. Oh, luckily I have a sale. I mean, not that it's gonna help me, I only need one pair of shoes. Not this one, this one's ugly. Thank you for coming with me to get my wedding shoes.
You're welcome.
It was really helpful having somebody to kind of hold me accountable to the task.
Oh, did I? I was mostly on my phone.
Appreciate you. Because seriously, me having to take myself out to do that, it was never gonna happen. Well, it probably would have eventually because, you know, need to wear shoes. But I also had to get some boots because they were cute. And I don't have any nice ankle boots. Well, I have one pair of ankle boots that I've had for many, many moons that are scuffed to heck and definitely need a polish, but I keep putting that off. But I don't have any boots like that. One of the things that I also find happens when I'm feeling a little bit like low motivation or the dip is hitting me is just falling off with the basics, like setting up my routine tracker despite the fact that it's Tuesday. And oftentimes these basic things, they're basic for a reason. They don't take very long to do, but we neglect them because we feel pressure from other spaces. I find, for instance, that anytime I'm feeling kind of overwhelmed, like there's heaps on my task list, I have a tendency to start to neglect my journal. It's like, no, you don't have time to write things down, you just need to take action, you need to get in and do things. Why are you wasting time with writing? But honestly, spending like 5, maybe 10 minutes just writing things down, making a plan for action, means that I can spend the next 50 minutes way better than I would if I just got in and started taking action without any kind of like basic plan in place. Those 5 to 10 minutes that I spend putting things into my journal, honestly, it's only usually 5 minutes, if that short span of time is going to make it so that the next hour, maybe 2 hours, is going to be so much better used. Especially because typically if I'm feeling overwhelmed, it's because there's a lot of things going on, which means if I don't write them down, they're just kind of ruminating over and over, repeating in my head with my mind, trying to make sure that they don't forget the things. Whereas if I handed that off to the journal's not going to forget it because I wrote it down, which also means in the end, I hopefully won't forget it because it's somewhere safe. With that in mind, filling in my routines tracker is definitely a priority for right now, especially while I can remember which of the tasks I have or haven't done for both today and yesterday. If I leave it till tomorrow, I won't remember what I did or did not do on Monday. To be honest, I can barely remember now, but I'm pretty sure I can figure it out. So if you're in a bit of a dip, feeling a bit of that kind of slump energy, just go and check on your basic things. Have you been checking in with your plans? Have you been checking in with those trackers and logs that you've been using to keep track of your progress? Remember, there are only 3 steps to this challenge, and that third one is keeping track of our progress. So writing things down or taking pictures or whatever it is you're doing, it's important. Another task that feels tedious, but I know is going to be beneficial, at least for my peace of mind, is figuring out how much I need to put in savings and put towards our wedding so that I don't have to like pull out of savings to put towards the wedding. The reason it's tedious is just because I have saved like every single email we've gotten from every single vendor, so I don't know which one tells me the price, so I'm gonna have to go through all of them. And there's definitely going to be some categories that I'm just going to kind of like let slip my mind. Like until I bought shoes today, I forgot that I had to account for budgeting for shoes for the wedding. I'm sure I can go and find a general wedding budget online so I can use those categories to kind of remind me of what I'm supposed to record. And I'm also just a little bit worried at looking at the number. Like we've already got some savings towards the wedding, but I do need to save some more money to pay everything off and not dip into my savings. And also add money to my savings. Yeah. This is also a task that I've been putting off since week 1, and we're now week 3, so having it done will feel good. So I went and made myself a little table. We've got the items, we've got the total I need for those items, or like amount remaining, the amount that I've already sussed, either by paying the person or by setting aside the funds, and thus the amount remaining. Decent amount of money. I haven't allocated all of the funds that we've saved for our wedding, so there's certainly less that I actually need, but I still need a bit. But that's okay. This is one thing that I can check off my task list and feel accomplished about. And given the fact that it's 7:30, it's probably time to go and do something else. Vogel and I just had a chill time finishing off the game that we've been playing, and I did my stretches. And although I am definitely still in that kind of like slumpy, rutty kind of feeling, like low motivation and stuff, I am pleased with the progress I made today. Sure, sending the packages out took way longer than expected, and that mixed with the prep work for it, mixed with getting up late and just like a bunch of other little bits and pieces, didn't necessarily get as much done with my day as I would have liked, work-wise or goal-wise. But I'm not gonna sit here and beat myself up about it because, like, if making ourselves feel bad about not getting things done, like beating ourselves up about it, actually worked, it probably would have worked by now. For most of us, the way to success is not by making ourselves feel cruddy, and even if that does work for some people, I'm sure that there's a nicer way to go about it. Don't let yourself be your biggest critic. There are plenty of other people to do that, and they can go and do their tasks so that you can focus on your own ones. Right now, my task is going to be doing some reading and getting to bed because I would like to be asleep at a much earlier hour tonight so that I can get a good, restful night, wake up on time, and have a good day tomorrow. Along with work tomorrow, I want to be building on the momentum that I've kind of started building today, just getting some more of those little wins done and kind of like building up those good feelings of like, I can do things and I can continue to do things because I will not let the dip beat me. We're going to keep on keeping on. We're going to get things done. Anyways, good night. Good morning, happy Wednesday. I'm already feeling just a little bit more positive by waking up on time today. It's like keeping a promise to my past self. I like to think of an alarm as a promise. It's like you've effectively told yourself, I want to wake up at this time. So by waking up with the alarm, you're keeping that promise to yourself. Do I do it every day? Definitely not, but I did it today and I'm feeling good. On the cards for today is primarily work, so podcast recording, getting the Saturday video sussed, setting up the live stream for tomorrow, all of those kind of things. And then once all of that stuff is taken care of, any extra time will probably get dedicated to goal work. I don't foresee there being a lot of extra time because didn't do a lot of work yesterday, but I don't know, maybe. Then in the evening we have Bujo Wednesday, which is going to also help with my decluttering efforts of getting things out of my house because I do have some piles of notebooks specifically for my friends who I'll be seeing at Bujo Wednesday. Supposedly the shower fixes are on their way so they can put the silicone down. I don't know, it's something. They're here to do something in theory, but because of that it means I can't get in the shower because then there's nobody to let them in because Vogel's working in the office today. So I am just in my office chilling with my overnight oats so that I can, you know, at least have breakfast to get my day started. And then I'm just gonna maybe potter on my computer and do some work until they get here. I don't know how I feel about getting in the shower when they're in the house, but the podcast recording is supposed to happen at 10, so everything's gonna be a little bit tight. It'll be great when it's done, but it's like, once the shower's fixed, then we have to like super confirm that it's not gonna continue to be a problem. And then we need to patch all of the holes in my walls and get it painted and all of that, so like, it's ongoing, but how are you? How's your stuff going? And I'm Jess, or JashiiCorrin, and I'm also testing my microphone. And in today's episode, we're going to be looking at the notebooks that we love. They're our ride or dies, or we're their ride or dies. I'm still not sure about how that works. The podcast is recorded. Mark is going to do at least the preliminary edits on that and get as far as he can, and then I will take over. Editing, it'll be fine. But for now, I need to take a thumbnail picture while the background's still set up and then figure out what I need to do for Saturday's video because that one needs more filming and editing, voiceovering, all the good stuff. It's 1:30 and I've done the initial voiceovering for this video. Definitely need to go through and trim some parts out because I have a tendency to repeat myself. Like, not so much laboring a point to a nauseating extent, though sometimes I do that as well, but more so saying the exact same thing 4 times in a row so that I can get it just right. And that is not fun to listen back to. And sometimes I accidentally leave them in and people are like, oh, is the audio skipping? Is there a glitch? No, it's just me being a perfectionist. But the editing is now done. We can move on to something else, which means setting up for tomorrow's live stream. Got to make sure that it's ready to go so people know that it's happening, for one thing. I'm still very much getting used to this new structure of having the live stream on a Thursday because usually I would be thinking on a Friday, oh, I have to set up for the live stream on Monday, and procrastinate it and put it off until Sunday or something like that. But I haven't been getting that kind of cue, so I've been getting to Wednesday and being like, oh yeah, there's a live stream happening tomorrow. I really actually do need to set that up. I probably need to put something in my calendar about it, or like my weekly routine. I need to kind of build into that routine when I'm going to be thinking about the live stream and, you know, setting up the thumbnail, watch page, all of those kind of things. It is not habitualized yet, but this is also only week 3, so fair. This week, the team with a capital T voted on which one they want to see, and we have a clear winner. Essentially, one of the live stream spots that we have each month on the channel is picked by the team with a capital capital T, or our YouTube memberships. They get to put forward suggestions of what they'd like to see in a live stream format, and then we pick a couple of those, goes forward in a poll, and they decide on which one we're going to do. This time around, we are doing planning for goal challenges / difficulties. So effectively, like what you can do to prepare yourself in advance so that then when those challenges or difficulties rear their ugly heads, we can face them in a better manner than just running, hiding, putting your head in the sand. So for instance, if you're trying to spend less money on fast food or food out, and then your friend turns around and invites you out to dinner, what can you do? I like to call this challenge planning, or essentially pre-thinking out the challenges you might face so that you can prepare what you're going to do in those situations. Much better if we go into those situations with a plan as opposed to just being caught unaware. But for now, I need to set up the watch page, thumbnail, all the good stuff. Am I procrastinating doing other things? Yes, but I want to get this elliptical out of here, so I thought I might list it online and hopefully somebody wants it. Which of course means deciding on a price for it with Vogel. We have differing opinions, but he's going to go and do a little search online to see what secondhand ones are going for, and then we will hopefully be able to price it at a competitive rate, because essentially I just want it gone. Most of the time I just price things to go, so then they leave my house. That one has been listed, so hopefully we get some bites, which means now it is time to pack for Boudreaux Wednesday, and I have a lot of things to take this time, thus the big bag needed to come out. Normally for Boudreaux Wednesday, I just pack like my journals and other kind of journaling supplies, whatever project I want to work on, but this time around, I also have to bring 2 bridesmaids dresses, 8 journals that aren't for me, so I also have to bring my regular journals, and some other decluttered items that I wanted to see if my friends wanted. This bag is very full. I hope it does not break. There we go. But it does all fit, and that's what matters. Now to figure out what project I want to work on and pack that bag as well. Very enjoyable evening with my friends, just doing journaling, hanging out, and it was really nice to see them in their dresses. They tried them on just to make sure that the sizing was okay and whatnot, but seeing them in their get-up, like even if it's just, you know, casually tried on or whatever, not with shoes or makeup done or anything, got me quite excited for the wedding. Actually more excited than essentially anything thus far. Like the menu tasting was great, excited for the food, but seeing them in their dresses was really, really nice. Anywho, it is 2 minutes to 10, which means I have 2 minutes to get into bed before I like have missed my deadline so that I can check that little box on my routine tracker. And those little check marks are very motivating for me. So I'm gonna run up there, maybe do some reading in my book, but otherwise, good night. Good morning. Happy Thursday. We are getting geared up to start the live stream, which should go for about an hour to an hour and a half. We've already done the exercise this morning. I kind of took it easier than I have been previously because I just like was not feeling it. I find that oftentimes, along with Thursday being kind of an energy slump day, it is also the point in the week where I start to worry that time is running out. In my mind, Wednesday is the midpoint of the week. Like in a traditional work week it is, but my work week typically spans until Sunday. So Thursday is kind of like my middle point where I'm like, oh my God, none of the week is left. Like, have you even gotten things done and stuff? And that is a bad mindset to be in when you're already in a motivational slump. Like if you're already feeling the dip, then raking yourselves over the coals being like, you haven't achieved enough this week. What are you even doing with your life? Remember, we are not going to beat ourselves up to progress. That is not how it's going to work. But I do have an intentional 2 blocks of time in the afternoon today, according to the new work weekly schedule, to dedicate to goal work. And I think I'm still going to be taking that tactic of like trying to pick off all of the small easy ones to build momentum so I can tackle the bigger ones. I'm kind of hoping that I can get onto at least part of the bigger ones today because I would like to actually start making the digital product, like building the base structure and starting to populate things and whatnot, because I am excited about it. I've been excited about it for a while, and oftentimes working on things that we're excited about can also help us rebuild that motivation to get things done. For now though, need to get onto the live stream. So when it comes to planning out our goals and getting ourselves like amped up, fired up to take action, the stream went well and I've just been doing some admin, organizing the notebooks that are going to be going off to new homes. I still have a chunk that are left that I need to find new homes for. So if they don't sell by the end of this week, I'll probably just drop the price. If that doesn't work, then I'll just donate them. Still very much taking that approach of get things out of my house as quickly as possible. I have given myself a list of things that I want to get done today, so hopefully I can get through most of the kind of work stuff fairly quickly, because in the afternoon, according to the weekly schedule, I want to be doing goal work. Another stack of notebooks has just been picked up, and I also managed to convince them to take some other items. It didn't take a lot of convincing, they were actually things they were going to use, so that was very convenient. For now though, on to work so that we can get on to more goal work. Bit over schedule, but the filming is done. Just need to put that into the editing folder, which means we can get started on goal work. It is currently 3:55 and we are leaving the house at 4 though, so I have an hour and 5 minutes to get something done. And this is the thing, if you only have a little bit of time, that's okay. Just do a little bit. Some is infinitely better than none. At least that's what I'm going to keep telling myself. In the idea of continuing to build momentum, I am going to, in particular, be working on the get stuff out of my house, so get decluttered items gone. And in particular, I know that some of the things that are still in our house are just trash. They either have to be like recycled or put like just in the bin, but they're kind of kicking around in the hallways and such. So I am going to, as quickly as possible, put them where they belong. I figure if I try and turn it into a bit of a time trial, it'll incentivize me to get things done faster because I'm racing the clock. Although it definitely took longer than I was hoping for, it's now 4:30, I'm just feeling a lot better about being in my space. I think that just having the clutter like as a constant reminder, sitting in the hallway saying like, hey, this job isn't finished, you didn't complete this, was just a huge demotivator. And now that those things have been put away, like into the bin and into the recycling, sure, I would have loved to have found better homes for them, a lot of them. But I think that like the amount of time, effort, and energy that I would spend trying to find the perfect home for those would just leave me stuck. And I don't want to be stuck. I have things to do. We have a life to change here. Given the fact that there's only a half hour before we're going to be going out, and in that time I also want to, get ready to go out so I can feel more presentable for the world, I'm gonna go through and soft sort my future me problems. This is one that in theory shouldn't take all that long. I'm essentially just going to take a photocopy of my future me problems pages and then color code them, just so I can start to see how long getting all of them done will actually take me. The task of eliminating the lapsed ones, or the ones that I've decided aren't really necessary anymore, I did that at Boudreaux Wednesday last night. It was just a nice activity to do while I was just hanging with my friends, because it didn't require a lot of brain power outside of a, do you still want to do this? But once I've sorted those future me problems in terms of how long they're going to take, then I can start to think about how long I'm going to dedicate to getting those done, or how many life admin days am I going to need to dedicate to working on them. I'm going with an expanded traffic light system, so essentially red for the super long tasks and blue for the super short ones. And I just need to go through all of these and color code them. Some tasks like investigating Alexa routines, that one is kind of like, could be a short one, could be a long one, depends on how long I want to dedicate to it. Whereas other ones like fixing the Crayola swatches shouldn't take too long. I essentially did it that anything in blue is a 15 minutes or less task. Anything in green will take me 30 minutes or less, or at least I'm estimating it to. 1 hour or less for the yellow, and anything over an hour for red. I went and also put in black dots for everything that's either been done or scrapped, just so that I knew that I'd gone and checked everything off. I think there's nothing missing. Now what I need to do is go and count the total for each of those and give myself an estimate using kind of like the maximum amount of time. Like some of these tasks, especially the ones over an hour, they're going to take several hours, so I'm gonna go and loosely estimate how many hours I think it'll take, but for the 15-minute under, 30 minutes or under, or 1 hour under, I'm just gonna estimate them as the highest number, so I give myself as much time as I'll actually probably need. Yeah, So according to my loose estimate, trying to work on all of my future me problems would take me about almost 101 hours. And based on an 8-hour workday, that should take me about 12 and a half workdays. Of course, all of those values were estimates, and I did use the maximum amount of time for all of the ones that were like 15 minutes or less, 30 minutes or less. So maybe it wouldn't take quite that long. But I'm curious to see where I'm gonna find myself 12 full work days in the next not quite 3 months to work on those things. We'll see what happens. For right now though, I need to get ready to go out because it is date night. This has been one of the things that has been really just like exciting and rewarding about this 3 months change your life challenge. Even though it's this small thing, it's just, you know, something that we're gonna do together intentionally once a week. It's been something we've been meaning to do for such a long time, and now we're actually doing it. That's the exciting part. Tonight, Bogle's taking us to mini golf and out for dinner. Should be good. Bogle, why am I not allowed to ask for the mouse discount?
Because we're better than that.
There was a mouse in the restaurant and Bogle didn't even ask for the mouse discount.
Because I'm not a piece of shit.
Thank you for taking us out.
You're welcome.
Did you have a good time?
I did.
What was your favorite part of the mini golf?
There was one I really liked, but I can't remember now.
I thought the catacombs with the put the hole in the skull was good, except for the fact that the skull kept eating my ball and not sending it through.
I like the pyre one with the smoke, the fake smoke with
Oh,
the little
yeah.
insulation maybe. I don't know what it was. Batting, that's the one.
Yeah, and I like that they had a skeleton being the person on the pyre.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Given that one of the things we've been talking about this week is the idea of low motivation and how to get out of it and such, one of the things that you can do, if you're finding that your inner self-talk is just not really like passing the vibe check, isn't really serving the purpose you want, you know, maybe bringing you up and actually incentivizing you to do things, sometimes it can be very useful to get an outside perspective.
Yeah, Jess is absolutely smashing it. I don't know what she's talking about. Like, she just, like, cleaned up half our house today. There was a job we were supposed to do tomorrow, which was organize all the decluttered stuff to go to the tip, and she's basically done it for me, so I don't really have much to do. So, I don't know really what to say, other than, like, if you're feeling slumpy, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel, because I'm basically a bum this week.
No, you're not supposed to say it like that.
But no, Jess is crushing it. She is achieving all her goals, and she seems on track for her 3 months of changing lives.
He wasn't paid to say this, even though it sounds like he was.
You're doing amazing, Bubba.
Thank you, so are you.
If anything, you're lifting me up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd just be like, leave me alone, I'm playing Pokemon.
No, I don't want to do things. Things are hard. No, I really appreciated your help with tidying up our house, and thank you for letting me know about the progress I've been making.
That's all good.
Yeah, he does it better when he's not on camera. But
Yeah.
Put a camera in his face because I'm a meanie.
Yeah, I was watching shorts, and then she said, film yourself.
Yeah, bum. Ready for your close-up?
No. For now, though, team, we're going to watch Severance. We're watching a recap, and then we're jumping straight into Season 2.
Episode over. We have 10 minutes until 10 o'clock, which means I'm going to get into bed and be able to check that off on my routine tracker. Huzzah! Anywho, good night. Good morning, happy Friday. I am actually kind of excited to get into work today. After feeling kind of off for the rest of the week, I think I'm finally kind of getting out of that a little bit. I know in part that's because today is email day, so like email, admin, writing the newsletter, which usually wouldn't fill me with a lot of excitement, but getting to a nice clear inbox zero is always just like such a satisfying feeling, and it's been a lot more manageable to keep up with having a dedicated slot for it every single week. Whenever I'd leave it to reset week, it would be like, oh, here's like 300 plus emails you have to deal with, whereas doing it on a weekly basis, it's like, here's 20 or something like that, especially because during the week I've been a lot better at going through and pruning things down, so there's not as much to delete, which means that the stuff that's left over is mostly stuff that has an action associated with it, and then taking those actions, getting those emails cleared or sorted has been very satisfying. I find that one of the biggest things that gets me demotivated to work on a goal is when I can't see my progress, and being able to see the clear inbox is a very clear indicator of progress. I also know that in terms of goal work, my day off tomorrow is not going to have a lot of goal work outside of one thing, which is having one memorable social event per month. And that's because tomorrow is my bachelorette party. I'm excited for it. I have no idea what we're doing, but I'm sure it's going to be memorable because I trust that Rachel and the rest of the bridesmaids team have done a good job organizing. Another thing that's been a good source of evidence of progress has been my routine tracker, being able to check things off, especially my exercise, which we have been doing daily, so I'm good for that. Even though the rest of the things on there haven't been checked off as consistently this week, I at least have that one the whole way through so far. And this is why recording our progress as we go is so important, because otherwise we kind of just get stuck in the like mundane daily tasks of doing something, especially for those habit or routine building goals, and the kind of outcomes that we're hoping for are still a fair way off. Small progress is still progress, and we need to make sure that we're documenting it. Another piece of visual progress that has been very helpful to kind of like get me a little bit more remotivated is having my spaces that were kind of like clutter corners or like just captured all of the decluttered items, they're starting to clear out as well. Not all of them are 100% perfect, some of them have just moved from the floor to the desk, but it's still making my space just look a little bit tidier, which is kind of part of the point of decluttering. Like, it's easier to keep our spaces tidy if we have less stuff to organize and tidy. When my motivation dips, I have a tendency to start neglecting putting things like my laundry away, so given that these have been kicking around in my bedroom since Monday, which really isn't that bad, but still, we're gonna put them away now. It'll be another thing off the checklist. Much better. Today I'm very much trying to focus on building motivation by taking action, because oftentimes we kind of wait for motivation to get us started, when realistically, if we get started, then we have little wins. We will build up the motivation as we go. That is what I'm doing. Up next, the inbox. Dun dun dun. It shouldn't be too bad. This is taking a lot longer than anticipated. I didn't really foresee how many of these emails would require responses, but that's okay. We're still going. We have 15 minutes until the first work block is over, and I hope that I can get all of the email inbox clearing done so that then I can write the newsletter. And I think I've been getting a little better, a little faster with the newsletters, so hopefully once I have the topic sorted, that shouldn't take the full work block. What's more annoying though is that the people who are fixing the shower are supposed to come today, and I don't know what time they're coming, which means I can't leave the house to deliver the journal packages that I have, either until I know when they're coming or until they actually come and leave. So my day's kind of stalling out a little bit on that. A little bit frustrating when you're trying to get like back into the swing of things and all of that. That's okay. We're going to focus on my tasks, the ones that I can control, and it'll all be fine. Fingers crossed. It took a little longer than expected because I did get distracted, but email sorting has been done. All of my inboxes actually have like 1 to 2 emails, but they're kind of like sitting there because they're still relevant for something and I can't action them in this moment. I either need to put in some thought or I need to hold on to them or like something like that. Like for instance, one of them is the tickets for next week's date night, so need to hold on to that one. Don't want to put it in a folder because I will forget. It'll just be easier if it stays in the inbox and I can delete it next week. For now though, I need to do the newsletter, which means deciding on topic, writing it up, all of that kind of thing. I'm going to set myself a visible timer for this, probably for about an hour, so that hopefully I can get it done in that long. Normally it does take me longer than that, but I think that having that visible reminder of the passing of time will make me use my time better. And I hopefully won't get distracted by Instagram again. I probably should just block it while I'm working, but the hard part is that part of my work is social media related, so we can do this. I've got this. The newsletter is scheduled. The Tylers are on their way, hopefully soon, because I want to go and take the journals where they need to go. And also possibly take my dress to go get it fitted, which I'm not looking forward to. And ideally I would have gone and found appropriate wedding underwear before that, but it needs to be done. Like, my need to find underwear can come later. Because of the style of dress and the type of underwear I wear, they are not compatible with each other. So yeah, Jess needs to go do some shopping. And she hates shopping, especially clothes shopping. Shoe shopping is fine. I can deal with that. I still put it off, but I can deal with it. Clothes shopping though, in order to make it so that as soon as the Tylers are done, then I can leave the house, because I do not want to get stuck in any kind of like after school traffic. I'm going to make sure that I have all of my ducks in a row. I've got the journals put into something that I can actually like take them to the shops in, because I'm not going to carry a giant stack of journals like that. That would probably be a bad idea. I need to collate addresses. I need to make sure I have all of the wedding bits and pieces to take to the tailor. Like, all of that needs to be done. And I should probably have lunch. Yeah. It is now 2:30. The Tyler still is not here. I called them. They did not pick up, but eventually they got back to me. They're supposed to be here now in about a quarter of an hour, which means that if they take too long, I'm not going to make it to the shops today, which will be quite frustrating. We will cross that bridge when we get to it. For right now though, I have gotten started on actually actively working on the first of 2 digital products that I'm hoping to put out as part of the 3 months Change Your Life challenge, because I figured I should just focus on something I can actually control, which is doing this. Building the base structure and then testing functionality are kind of like the main 2 things I want to do this week. Also building the default template for the prompts would be good, and if possible, adding some prompts. Adding the prompts shouldn't really take too long. It's the stuff that comes before that, to like really formalizing the template so that it's usable for other people. Because right now it's a bit of a mess because it's just for me and I know how it works. It's not necessarily super user-friendly for everybody else. They're here now. I'm trying not to be annoyed, but I am annoyed. Well, they are done now. I have no idea what they've done, but they're going to be back on Monday to flood test the shower, which doesn't make me worry at all. But I have outside of the house errands to run, so it's time to get everything in the car and go do those, because I want them finished. If I never have to ship another package, it will be too soon. Honestly, I am so done with the post office. Well, I am officially proud of myself for leaving the house and actually attempting to get this job done. The lady who does it isn't actually in today, so we're going to have to come back at another time, but it's cool. It means that I know when to be there and that they actually do it. But hey, I have at least officially shipped all of the journals that have been purchased. I have a booked in, at least with me, booked in time to go and get my dress tailored. And I've at least started working on the structure for the journal prompt library, which I'm hoping I can finish off the base structure today before like work cutoff time. I was gonna say, not that it's really work because it's goal work, but at the same time it is for a work purpose. So like gray area? To accommodate the fact that I needed to change when I was going to be doing things, I've just switched a couple blocks around. So rather than having this goal block here, where it usually would be on a Thursday, I've just switched that with a work block so that then I have a little bit of goal time, I can go and get the dress fitting done and all that kind of stuff, and then I still have the same amount of work time throughout the schedule. This is one of the things that I find to be quite useful about the block method and just kind of like switching things around, especially when all the blocks are kind of the same size. I know that that is not a system that everybody can use, not everybody has that level of flexibility in their schedule, but I am making the most of the fact that I have that flexibility. And given the fact that I haven't really made the most of that flexibility previously, I'm glad that I'm making that something I'm focusing on this quarter. I may or may not have gotten distracted by journal say and shopping for new stationery supplies. No regrets, except for maybe squandering my time, maybe like light regrets. I'm looking forward to the goods though. Alrighty, I think I've got the base structure down. So you can see we have 2 kind of separate sections. We've got the journal entries at the top and then the prompts at the bottom. So the prompts is going to be filled with like essentially every journal prompt that I've collected over the last, 8 years of journaling and self-help investigation. Whereas each of the entries that you add can be linked to those prompts so that you can go into an individual prompt and then see all of the entries that come underneath that. So like, let's just say that over the next 6 months or whatever, you do several entries that are related to this prompt. All of them will be captured under there so that you can easily find them again. The general intention is that for each of the prompts I put in, I'm going to tag them with the general topics or themes, also maybe the amount of time it might take, if it's just for fun or if it's something that's like a deep kind of reflective process. And I also put in a general kind of like a daily entry structure into the journal entry space. The base structure is looking good. I've tested the functionality and that's looking good as well. I think I need to actually go and put some journal prompts in though, so that then I can see if it actually works the way I think it does. Because like it works, but I want it to work the way I think it works. That is not a right now task though, because it is 6:30 and I am ready to do something else. In particular, I need to get some more steps because I'm not at 8,000 yet. I want to do my stretching this evening and I just want to have some chill time. So tomorrow is my bachelorette party day thing, and Rachel just sent me the very cryptic itinerary, which has got me both very excited and worried, because I'm like, don't read into it too much because you'll get the wrong end of the stick and then you'll expect the wrong thing or something. I know that it's gonna be great. I'm very excited for it, but like, it's really cute. It's really cute. Here's a picture of what she sent me with her very cryptic clues. I know you can barely read it, but like still. She's done a very good job of it. I'm very eager to get started, but you know, before that we have to like sleep and hopefully get a good night's rest and all of that jazz. Did I play Xbox for too long? Maybe, but I had a good time and I think that matters. So it's gonna be time to go to bed now. It's 10:20, missed the official bedtime, but it's all good. I'm not gonna be sleeping in tomorrow because I need to make sure I do my exercise and all of that kind of stuff before we're heading off for Bachelorette Day. So anywho, good night. Good morning, happy Saturday. We are getting ready to do some exercise because starting the day with that means it actually gets done. It's very much one of those like eat the frog must eat the ice cream type things. It's like eating my frog, that is my exercise, but over time it has just become part of the regular morning routine and it's not so daunting anymore, which is kind of nice. I'm hoping that eventually other things that I'm putting into my morning routine, like, you know, the social media free mornings and other stuff also kind of becomes something to look forward to. Right now, the social media free mornings are very difficult still. I'm actually breaking it today, mainly because Bachelorette Day, and I don't want to be on my phone, using my phone while I'm out, so I'm kind of like front loading my morning with the time that I would be using it, in particular to respond to like YouTube comments and stuff like that. So it's not like I was gonna whip my phone out in the middle of my Bachelorette to respond to I might have done that. I am that person, let's not lie about that. But of course, I need to get all of these things done so that then I can be ready for when they arrive. I know that Rachel said she was leaving her house at 10, and I'm just gonna like assume that she's gonna leave a little later and give myself a little bit more grace. I'm sorry, Rachel. So I'm hoping that they'll get here at like 10:30 so I have ample time to do my walk, do everything else I need to do, get ready for the day and such, but looking forward to it. Should be good. I've also been thinking about my email inbox zeroing, like trying to do that every week, and maybe putting it on a different day because I write my newsletter on a Friday. It sends out on a Friday evening. I also do my inbox zero on a Friday, and that means that on Saturday I have responses from the email that I sent on the Friday. So it's like I already have got emails in there that I need to reply to. I'm not sure what the best way forward with that is. Maybe I do inbox zero on a Saturday morning. Saturday's supposed to be my day off. That doesn't sound fun. It's something to problem solve later. Right now I need to fill up my bottle so I can go for my walk. And often walking time makes for good problem solving time. It's very difficult to do this one-handed though. Something else that there is to look forward today is that Vogel is going to be going to Trash Palace, or like the recycling center and Trash Palace. I just call the whole thing Trash Palace. Trash Palace specifically is a place for secondhand goods that the op shop is a little bit like, but Trash Palace is like, nah, this is still good. Somebody will want it. We will take it. So I wanted to make sure nothing got left behind that needs to go there. So we've collected them all out into the hallway so that they're ready to go, which essentially takes care of the final pieces of our declutter outside of the journals that are still left and the elliptical, which I feel like are going to take a while to shift anyways, but they also weren't in the middle of the floor being a nuisance. So at least having my floor space back, that is very peace inducing. Alrighty, it is now 10:02 and I need to iron my dress and put on my tights and get my bag together. So like not too many things, but I would like to have been further along by now. I don't know how people deal with like actually ironing their clothes, like all of their clothes, because I've only done the majority of the like very bottom of this dress and I'm like, I think this dress needs to get thrown away. Stuff ironing, not my vibe, but it'll look good when it's done. And I better hurry up with it because in theory they're like on their way. The dress is done, it is time to get changed and then get my bag together and then we'll be off.
in bed. It was a very enjoyable day out. My friends did a very good job of organizing, and I personally think I did a very good job of not getting caught up on not being the organizer. I'm just very used to being the organizer and knowing what the plans are. So going out for the day not knowing what the plans were was certainly an interesting experience. I had a good time. It was fun. My favorite activities were definitely getting to make our own gin blends. That was really fun. Like, just being able to hear the kind of like story behind the different gins and also be able to play with all the different flavors and make our own combinations and stuff. Mine had a lot of pea flour, which is why it is super blue and I love it. I essentially told them that we should have like a gin cocktail night where we all bring our own gins and do our own kind of like custom cocktail making to go with the particular blend of things that we put into our gins. I thought that'd be really fun. And then I also really enjoyed the escape room. Obviously couldn't show you a lot of the escape room because it's a little bit poor form to film escape room puzzles. You don't want to give people spoilers, but I didn't even know there was an escape room there, so that one was really cool too. Also just very glad to be home and in bed before 11. Didn't quite make my 10 p.m. deadline, but I think I can make an exception for my bachelorette. I still want to keep my exercise streak alive tomorrow though. That means going to sleep so that I can wake up, exercise, and then we have the team hangout tomorrow. And I'm supposed to be doing meal prepping because that is aligned with my health goals. I don't know what I'm making. Yeah, I should probably figure that out. But for now, good night. Good morning. Happy Sunday. I know you can't see me, but I promise I'm here. The body has decided we're waking up early today, which is rather unfortunate because I was hoping to sleep in. On the cards for today, though, we have team hangout, which I'm looking forward to. I also have to do my meal prep, but I don't know what I'm making because I didn't figure it out early enough. And we also haven't made a meal plan for the week ahead. So I'm not too sure what's going to be happening with grocery doing and all that because typically groceries would get done on a Saturday, or at least we attempt to. That didn't happen. So then you'd think they'd get done on a Sunday. But Vogel's going out to hang out with his sibling today. So we'll see. I think I might just go super easy mode and just do overnight oats again because that's something I can prepare really, really easily. Plus I have heaps of the apples from last week still, so that should be all good. But for lunches, I think I need to do a count up of how many I have left over and we'll see how much I actually have to make.
Exercise has been done, breakfast has been had, and I am feeling a lot more prepared for the day. We have our hangout starting in about, 2 or 3 minutes. And I think I'm going to use it mainly to do a bit of a weekly reset. This is something that I used to do pretty regularly, but kind of fell off with. It's just a way to get, cool, calm, and collected for the week ahead. So you know what's happening, what you need to do, when things are going to be happening, all of that. For the most part, it's really just like, setting up in my journal, making sure that my routines tracker has all of the routines I'm keeping track of populated in there, setting up my priorities list, all of those little bits and pieces, so that I can hit the ground running come tomorrow morning. We've decided not to do meal planning today because with Vogel going to his sibling's house and hanging out there probably into the evening, we're just not really going to feel like it when he gets back. Plus, we already have one meal from this week that we still haven't eaten, so we're going to probably just kick that to tomorrow night and then do meal planning tomorrow. That does mean I probably won't be doing any meal prep today, outside of maybe measuring out dry ingredients for overnight oats, but I have enough lunch meals in the freezer that I should be alright, at least for the most part of next week. I would like to get a little bit better about preparing in advance what my meals are going to be, like, knowing in advance what they're going to be, not necessarily meal prepping them, because Sunday being meal prep day makes sense for my schedule. But knowing what I'll be cooking before Sunday is important for getting ingredients, which didn't happen this week. But that's okay. I'll do better next time. Hey, how's it going? Exciting! Yeah, I think that the domestic is like an hour and then the international is like 2, but the like check-in closes an hour and a half before either boarding or takeoff, one of the two. I came downstairs to make a hot drink and figured I'd just organize my overnight oats now because it really only takes like 2 minutes because I'm just putting dry ingredients in here and then I can make up the wet ingredients later. Our hangout is going well. It's just nice to hang out with people, do journaling, chill, chat, all of that kind of a thing. I'm currently reheating my lunch and then I'm going to take that back to the hangout, just like eating off camera because we're not going to turn it into one of those videos, and essentially just like potter around in my journal, do some more goal work. Despite feeling quite low motivation for most of this week, I've actually managed to get a decent chunk of stuff on my priorities list done, and now I'm kind of in that like competition mindset with myself. Like, how good would it be to wake up tomorrow and not have anything on my priorities list be a hangover from this week? or like the least number possible, because I know that at least some things are going to have to be transferred over. In particular, continuing to get rid of the decluttered items, because there are still a couple that are kicking around my house, but I'm actually quite chuffed with how many we have been able to get out of the house this week. For now though, the microwave has finished, so it is time for me to eat. I was just talking about you, calm down. Also, if you were interested in coming along to our future journal hangouts, then we would love to have you with us. We have them kind of occasionally in the free chat in the Discord space, but we also have them in a more formalized capacity as part of the Team with a capital T perks, or the channel memberships. There's a link in the description box if you're curious about that one. It's always just nice to hang out with other people in a very low effort capacity. Like, I'm in my house, you're in your house, we've got like our cozy clothes on, we're just chilling and chatting about journaling or whatever else. It's just nice. I've written myself a list of priorities for next week, and thankfully we actually don't have all that many that have been carried over from this week. The main one is really just adding prompts to the journal prompt library, which I had hoped to do more of this week, but at this stage on a Sunday, I am just not in the headspace to do it. I am actually really tired. I think that the long day yesterday, combined with poor sleep, has just got me feeling a little bit depleted in terms of energy. So I'm gonna take the rest of the day off as a way to kind of like refill that well. Hopefully get a good night's sleep tonight so we can start next week cool, calm, collected, ready to roll out. Especially because I want to get as many of these things done next week as possible, which is kind of the same for every single week, but you know, it's a slightly shorter priorities list than we've had the previous weeks, but that's also because some of these are bigger ticket items. One of the things that I'm actually quite looking forward to next week is doing another check-in for just like goal progress, seeing where we're at, especially because I feel like I've made a decent amount of progress this week, even though it was a low motivation week. That being said, the thing that did very much suffer, or is, I don't know, continuing to suffer given the fact the week isn't over, are my routines. So I'm kind of musing with myself, like, how can I make getting back on top of my routines a priority? Maybe not necessarily for next week, because I feel like that literally starts tomorrow. It's a little bit, like, late in the piece for me to be deciding this. But maybe for week 5, possibly making routine building a focus that week would be a good idea. Or, like, recommitting to those routines. It'll also be the start of a new cycle, so it's like a mini fresh slate, which could be a good opportunity to kind of recommit to those, lean back into them, try and get a little bit better in terms of my completion percentage. For right now though, I'm debating as to whether I get on the walking pad and do some walking, or if I just play some Xbox. Maybe I could do some walking pad and then some Xbox. Because in terms of steps, I am nowhere near 8,000 yet. And if I leave it too late in the day, it's going to be much more of a struggle to actually get it done. Taking this afternoon and evening off was probably one of the best decisions I have made all week. I am so very spent and very excited to get into bed, despite the fact that it's only 8:40. It's pretty early for me. I think what's even more exciting is that I'm going to be starting tomorrow already having my priorities list filled in, which was not the case this week, or last week, or the week before. For now though, I'm going to play a little bit more of Assassin's Creed Odyssey before possibly going to bed to do some reading before getting an early night. So now for something completely different. Something that can definitely help us feel a little bit something that can definitely help us feel just a little bit more motivated. Man, we're going all the way back to the bedroom because it's easier. I started recording too early. This week, the team with the tap. This week, blah, blah, blah. Am I procrastinating doing other things? Yes, but I want to get this treadmill, which is not a treadmill. I tossed my head exactly the wrong way. The angels up in the clouds. Blah, 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 blah. If you scroll, then they can't tell that one of your tentacles is longer than the other. Stress is manifesting itself as poor skin. Blech. Ow! You get me out of the ordinary. You get me laying down in the sanctuary.
Oh no, where'd your clothes go? It's Cosmo and Wanda. Ew.
Baron the witch!
Burn the witch! No! Now I'm stuck!
Is it actually?
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, 7.
For fuck's sake.
1.
What was your favorite hole? That sounded wrong. I take that question back. Alrighty, Chongus. Good job, Chongus.
Give me compliments.
You're a hot little baddie.
No, not like that.
Another thing that's been a good... My girl's just standing in the back waiting for me to be done talking. Do a little dance.
Are you filming me?
Yeah.
This is Bachelor, and I was like,
Pew, pew, pew. Going for a walk, cause I need to get my steps in. Aw, they're so cute. look at them. They match completely, no problems. Just waiting for the microwave. What I'm actually quite looking forward to for next week is doing a check-in, because we'll be at the end of... I just realized that because of the way that I say check-in, it probably comes up as the subtitle as like chicken. It has a hard time with my accent sometimes. Was it a perfect week in terms of action taking? No, but I did make progress, and in particular, I got those things that I had put off from last week done, which I am very pleased with. That's no longer future Jess's problem. Not every week is going to have exactly the same amount of progress, not every week is going to look exactly the same, and that's okay. We're still moving forward and we're still getting stuff done. If you wanted to get involved with our 3 months to change your life challenge, there is still plenty of time to get involved. Even though we're 3 weeks down, we still have a lot of time left in order to make progress and do things that you'll be proud of. To check out the challenge details and all of the other videos we've had in the series, then this playlist is the next one to check out. That not only includes the introduction to the challenge, but also the things that I did to prepare and the progress that I've made so far. So click or tap on that one and I'll see you over there.